So, good evening, everyone. Joint IoT workshop series in which we are going to study for Google home automation using Google Assistant. So, welcome to the session, and we are going to start the session. So, telling about myself, my name is Anand Maurya. I am currently studying in Triple IT Nagpur second year in my with pursuing electronic and communication engineering. Telling about my work experience as me and my friend. Please don't use sketch on the PPT. So telling about my work experience, I am the founder of Logical Solution Initiative, me and one of my friend. This initiative is for teaching technical knowledge to the student for free. Just a second, I have to just disable it. Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay. So about my work experience, I am the founder of Logical Solution Initiative and I was a research intern and Indian Traffic Police. So in my Logical Solutions Initiative, we are actually giving technical knowledge to the students for free of cost. So me and one of my friend have this last 3 months. From last 3 months, we are working on this initiative. And talking about my skills, I am a certified data scientist by IBM. I have done in IoT automation and robotics, ML and AI from deeplearning.ai, and I have knowledge of AR and C and Python programming. So this was about my if you want to contact me, you can contact me through my email ID that is anandmodel06@gmail.com and you can contact me. So now proceeding to our slides. Today's project, there are most important things that we have to understand before. So first thing that we will study is about cloud. What are cloud? Okay, introduction to cloud. What actually are clouds? See, if you go through the technical terms, like if you go to the technical term or from Wikipedia, a cloud refers to the server data accessed over internet and software database that runs through servers. So this becomes quite technical to understand what actually the cloud is. Now, let us understand with the pictorial way. Like, just suppose that in the villages there are farmers. They want to keep their crops in a cold storage so that they can preserve it for a longer time. As the price of cold storage for just making our own cold storage, it will cost a lot of money and a lot of space and many more factors. So what farmers do, when they grow crops, they want to keep their crops in the cold storage that is owned by someone else. It means any someone else is owning that cold storage, but the farmer is going and keeping their crops in that cold storage. Instead of that, the farmer is giving a little amount of money to that owner of the cold storage. So this is how the same process is applied in cloud also. The same way cloud also works. Just suppose that the farmer is you and your crops are your data and cold storage is your cloud. So what you will do in cloud, you want to store some data. Like the farmer is storing the crop in a cold storage. What you are doing, you are going to the cloud platform and just uploading some of your data. And the cloud is just holding all your data is securities. You can access it anytime when you want. So this is how the cloud works. Same like farmers, you just go to the cloud platform, you upload some of your data to your cloud. Now it's the responsibility of the cloud to store the data, their security and all. So this is how the cloud works. Now coming to the next thing, basically what is the architecture of cloud? How per step by step process basically we consider for IoT how this cloud works. Let's suppose I am making a project in which I am controlling a LED or a home light by using my mobile phone. So in this case, what I will do, if I will switch on, like in my phone, will be one button. If I will switch it on, then my bulb will be on. If I switch it off, then my bulb will be off. So basically, what is happening at the back end, like we understand for cloud, basically when you are tapping for switch on button, there is a data sent to the cloud that yes, your user want to turn on the light, and then after the data is sent to the cloud, and then from the cloud the data is sent to the specific microcontroller or your hardware kit. So this is what at the back end is happening. Your mobile phone is sending data to cloud, and through cloud, your cloud is sending data to a particular microcontroller or particular hardware that you are using. So this is how cloud is useful when it comes into IoT. As in IoT, it is infinite range. Wherever there will be internet, we can use IoT. Like from India, I can control to any part of the world. My home lights and all electronics, I can control from any part of the world. The only thing is that I need internet. So this is how cloud comes into action, because cloud also works on the internet platform only, so it has no range. So it helps into the infinite range. Like for IoT, it's infinite range. You can use anywhere when there is internet. So this is what is happening at the backend. Cloud is helping us to perform this particular action. Now coming, why do we need cloud? Like I have told you that it's for infinite range. But if I told you about this era, this is industry 4.0. Like every revolution in industries also, there is revolution time to time. So this particular era is industry 4.0, in which the aim of industry 4.0 is, industry 4.0 is trying to build a product that is linked to an internet. The aim is to connect each and every device to internet. So connecting each and every devices, thousands of devices, controlling it from any part of the world, we actually need a cloud platform that is easily accessible. Like from mobile phone, I can easily use cloud and use any of the other devices or hardware devices that I am doing, that I am working for. So this is what the cloud architecture is, or why do we need cloud? This is the answer, because this is industry 4.0 era. We need everything to connect with internet, and connecting a bulk of hardware with internet of your houses, we need a cloud so that we can control it from any part of the world. So this is why we need cloud. Now coming to API, the second most important topic that we have to study for this project. API. If I just read the internet language, that API is an application program interface, is computing interface that defines interaction between multiple software intermediaries. So now this is again a difficult task to understand everything by just reading a definition. So let's come to a pictorial picture in which we will understand by this picture. Now suppose take an example of your school. Your principal want to get some report or get some class report from a teacher. Like this is a principal, this is a teacher. Your principal want to take some reports from the teacher. So what he will do, he will ask the peon that go to the particular teacher and ask her or ask him to give him the reports. Now what peon will do, he will go to the teacher, ask for that, and just bring the report to the principal. So how API is working in this? Like in the same way here, what API does? API act as a means of communication between two softwares, so software 1 and software 2. Like for example, now suppose instead of principal, this is software 2, and instead of teacher, this is your software 1. So here what is done, that the means of communication, like your software 2 wants a report from software 1. So what he has done, he has asked the API. In this case, API is your peon. He will ask, then there will be an API. Then API will go to the software 1 and ask for this particular data. That yes, that software wants this particular data. And instead, then if this software gives that data, it will return to the software 2 that yes, sir, this is your data. So this is how whole cyclic process is working for API. API acts as a means of communication between two softwares. My software 2 wants some data, my API will go to software 1. Software 2 and software will not directly go and communicate with each other. They will communicate with the help of API. In this case, my servant, that is my PM, is an API. He will do the means of communication, that a particular task for going and asking for the report and bringing the report. This whole cyclic process in this API is your servant. So again, I am telling it acts as a means of communication between two software. Okay, coming to the next slide. Now, how API is working in the real life. Let's suppose you are opening your Swiggy app. When you are opening your Swiggy app for ordering something, then you are seeing a map in Swiggy that okay, here is a restaurant, here is restaurant 2, or here is restaurant 3. So there is a question that is that maps actually owned by Swiggy? Is Swiggy the owner of that particular map service? But the answer is no. Swiggy is not owning the maps. What Swiggy is doing, Swiggy is taking orders and Swiggy is showing it on the map. But the thing is that Swiggy does not own that map. That map is owned by your Google Maps. But how these two softwares are working with each other? So this there is API. Whenever you are opening your Swiggy app, there an API sent to Google Maps. Okay, yes, my user wants the location of the restaurants. So that API is sent to Google Maps, and then the API is responded back, and this gives you the particular data of your maps of your location. So this is basically how API is working in these two tech giants companies. They are not actually, like for example, is not owned by Swiggy, but they are taking help of each other. Like Swiggy is taking help of Google Maps. That help is by sending an API request to Google Maps and then again responding back to Swiggy. Yes, this is the location that a user is asking for. So this is how the two softwares interaction. This is an example of software's interaction through API. So now coming like in this project, we will need a platform that is called as IFTTT. That IFTTT full form is if this then that. It's like a condition. Like in C, if we have studied C programming, we are using if condition. In the same way, this software is actually for conditions. Like if this condition satisfied, that particular task will be done. If this particular condition will satisfy, then that particular task will be done. So from this full form only, you can say like if this means like in our project, like if I take the example of our own project, that using Google Assistant for turning on my home appliances and all. So for an example, let's say I want to switch on my light. I am saying to my Google Assistant, light on. Instead of that, what I wanted, that my light should on. So I will take this in the later slides about APIs, how we are actually working for APIs. So this slide is just for understanding if this then that, means if this particular should satisfy, then that particular action should be performed. Like if I am saying light on, condition one, that is if this, it means if I am saying light on, then the particular task should be done, that is my light should be on. So this is how IFTTT is working and helping us. So this is a platform that is used for conditions and performing the particular task according to the particular condition. Now coming, that is today hardware that we will require for this project. The first thing is of course your Bolt module. This is an extraordinary module. It's a very small but very powerful module. And the next thing is relay. But in our case, like I will show you the demo with relay, but if anyone is not familiar with relay or have not used it much, then I will not recommend you for using relay, as we are working on relay with 220 volts directly. So if you are very much familiar with relay and you have used it previous, then only you can use it. But for my recommendation, please don't use relay. I will show you the demo with relay only. So and other thing is that is LED, some jumper wires and a breadboard. So these are things that we will need for making our today's project. So now coming to our project, Google Assistant enabled home appliances. Like my Google Assistant is controlling my appliances, my bulb, my fan, and each and everything of my house, so I will use my Google Assistant. So now coming how to approach for this particular project, like how I will just make my project. Just a second. Okay, if you don't have relay, then no problem. Kulkarni. So now for approaching for this project, we have studied about clouds. What is cloud? We have studied about IFTTT, if this then that. Then how we are going to implement these things in our project? Basically, what we are doing, we will just combine these two platforms and we will make our project. What here is happening, like if I say tell you about API, like I have told you API is an means of communication way. We have APIs in the field of IoT. With the help of API, I can control my hardware. Each and every company, like if you go in the market, there are many companies that provide API services. So each and every company has their own API. Same way, Bolt IoT is also providing their own APIs, their own cloud services. So what is happening in API? When you are running an API, like I am running an API for turning on my light, then when I will run that API, then my particular light will be on. That is my Bolt IoT. That is my module is commanded to turn on my light. If I am running an API for switching off light, then my Bolt module is commanded to switch off this light. So this is how API works in IoT. Now coming to how to approach. Let's say I am saying to my mobile or Google Assistant, lights on. Then I have told you that that particular data is sent to the cloud. Then what here is that your Bolt cloud is giving you an API. Like you have an API. We will be making API in the later slides. But here, for understanding, let's say your Bolt cloud is giving an API. You have an API. Then when I am saying to my Google Assistant light on, then I will run the API of light on. This is the most basic approach that we will use. When I will say light on, then I will just run my API for light on. When I will say light off, then I will just run an API for light off. This is how we are connecting things. Okay. API and IFTTT. IFTTT is for performing for conditions and then performing that particular task. Condition is if I will say light on, if that condition satisfy light on, then my API, then that particular task I will assign to IFTTT is to run that particular API. So this is how I will use for controlling my home appliances using Bolt and IFTTT. So now, how you will make an API? Like how you will get an API? If I say for Bolt only, like Bolt API is very interesting, like very extraordinary API. The fact is, by Bolt API, you can get many information. Like there are many APIs in the market, but the interface is really, you can say, you are working with, you can just see that interface of Bolt API and other APIs, there is a lot of difference. And if I say for Bolt IoT, if you are just implementing a sensor or a light, Bolt IoT is giving you continuous data. Yes, your light is on for 5 minutes and then off. Yes, your temperature sensor, that data it's showing, it's making graph. But other APIs, they are not so much powerful. They do not provide even a better interface in which you can see the status of your uh, lights and all. So this is why Bolt API is very excellent and extraordinary. So now how you will be getting your API? Now just go to Bolt on a Bolt cloud platform. Just go to a Bolt cloud platform. You will get this particular interface. Okay, you will get this particular interface in your Bolt platform. So in the Bolt, you will see at the left hand side there is an option for API. You will see an option for API in the left hand side. So when you will click on API, you will be seeing like two options: manage API key and API documentation. So for manage API key, you will see that you have interface of generate key. So this is a particular API key. This is your API key, but not your API. I am again repeating, this particular thing is your API key. This is not your API. So when you will go and manage API key, you will see some XXX is written. This is because to hide your API, because if anyone gets your API, they can get access of your hardware devices and all. So it's very necessary to hide your API keys and API and don't share it to anyone else. So here you will see an option of API. So what you will do, you will just copy that API. Like for this point of time, you just copy your API somewhere in your notepad or anywhere. You just copy this particular API key. So now in this section, we have got your API key. Now how to make API? Like how we will know what is API and how we will get our APIs. So go to API documentation. After copying this API key, go to particular API documentation. In this, there is an introduction of API and each and everything is explained about APIs. How APIs works, how APIs requested, each and everything is just explained in a very good manner in this page. So when you will go on API, then you will see an API introduction. So now what we have to do basically in our project, we are just saying to our commanding to our LED like for this point of time like LED on and LED off. So we are using general purpose input output pins like GPIO pins. They are just act like a switch. Like if I am commanding 1, then the light should on. If I am commanding 0, the light should be off. The only two things that they can work is like switch. They are like switch on and off. So we are using light. We are not using any sensors. So we will use GPIO commands. In this, you can see that there is a GPIO commands written. Just go to that particular GPIO commands and you will land up to this type of interface in which there it's written click here to find out to write digital output, to read digital input. So like I want to explain you about digital output, digital input, what these things are. Like digital, first of all, there are two things that is digital and one is analog. Digital means that either two of the values will be there. Like if a very particularly if I say in digital there are 0 and 1, it's just like binary 0 and 1. 0 means that generally 0 means power off or generally 1 means power on. But if I come to the analog, there are continuous values. Like I gave you example of a temperature sensor. Temperature sensor can be 10 degree, 20 degree, 20.5 degree, 20.56 degree. So the values are continuous in analog. But if I come to a case of let's say light, then there are two cases, light on and light off. There is no intermediate case involved in digital. So this is the difference between digital and analog. Now coming digital output and digital input. So basically in IoT, we have two types of devices. One is output and one is input. Like in our like we have studied in our computer science in like 4th and 5th only, input and output devices. Okay, like if I say for my mouse or a keyboard, they are input devices. Like I am giving some data to my PC. Output devices means printer, your monitor. They are giving out the data. In the same way, if I come to IoT, there are two types of devices, input and output. If I say for sensors, then what sensors are doing? They are collecting the information from outside that system and giving it to your system. Like if I say for temperature sensor, they are giving the outside temperature to a particular system, that is the temperature is 10 degree or temperature is 20 degree. So what they are doing, they are taking the data and giving it to the system. So they are input devices. Basically, sensors are input devices. And if I say for LED or your buzzer, they are actually giving out the data like LED is emitting light, buzzer is emitting sound. So they are called as digital outputs. So this is a difference between digital input and digital output. Like now in this case, I am working on a LED or a light. So there will be digital output First of all, digital because it's only two cases, light on or off, and output means that my light is an output devices. So now we will go on the first, like it's written, click here to find how to write digital output. So we are using digital output. So we will click on that. Just click on this particular click here, and you will land up to this page. Now here it's explained about like pin, bold, GPIO pins and the state. Now in this API, you will see that it's in form something in form of a URL, HTTP cloud bolt remote. So this is called as API. This particular URL, what you are seeing is called API. Like if you are running this API, like if this API is for turning your light on, if you will run it in your browser, your light will be on. If you are running for just light off in your browser, then your light will be automatically off. So this is the work of API. Running your API in your PC, you are controlling your hardware, and all the thing is done with the help of cloud that we have understood in the previous slides. Now, basically, if we will see for both APIs, like the format of APIs are different for each and every company. Like each and every company has their different APIs. In Bolt, how is the format of API is? You will see that HTTP cloudbolt.com remote and slash, that these things between slash that 44B to 8DEB. This is your API key. So in this case, you have to just put your API key. Like in this case, there is some example API key. Now you have to put your API key in this place. That is 44B2 that we have copied. You have to paste your API key instead of this. Now digital write pin 0. Digital write means it will command that digitally commanding. Digital write means digitally commanding, like just switch on or switch off. And pin is 0. Pin 0 means whatever pin you are using in your bolt. If you are using one pin, two pin, like in your bolt module, you can see there is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that pin 0 means that I am using the pin number 0. And state is equals to high. State means if it's written state is equals to high, then this means that this particular API is for turning on my light that is connected to my pin number 0. So this is the meaning of API. And the thing is that what device? Like if your cloud is giving some data, then their cloud should actually know where should I have to give data. Like there are thousands of devices. There are thousands of Bolt devices all over the world. So your particular cloud should know that what data where they have to give. So that's why you have to give device name as Bolt. That you will get your device name. Like in my case, my device name is Bolt 5648261. So you will get your device name from the cloud. So what you have to do, first of all, you have to put your key, whatever pin you are using. Like if you are using pin number 1, you just write pin is equals to 1, and this is state is equals to high. Like I am using this particular for turning on my light. So this is how I will make. Now device name, that is Bolt, whatever is your device name, just put that. And in the same case, if you want to just turn off your light, then you have to change only one thing, that is the state should be low. Like your light is connected to that the particular pin only, but only thing is that you have to just turn it on, then you have to state is equals to high, and then other thing is when you have to turn it off, then that particular state should be low. So this is how basically you are getting your API. Just these two things is your API. Like you will use these two things. So it's better if you copy it somewhere in a notepad, because we will be using this particular in our IFTTT also. So now if I show you to my APIs, like in my case, so these are my APIs. Like I have just highlighted this is my API key. This particular is my API key. This is the pin state. Like if I am using pin number 0 and the state is high and the device name is this. Now again for off, you can see that there is, I have highlighted with yellow, the state is changed. In this particular thing, the state is high, and this particular thing, The state is low. Okay, Vedant. We actually put API keys and device name because it's a cloud service. Then what you are doing, like if someone is like if a cloud is sending some data that to turn on live, so then how will how will your cloud know that at which device you have to send the data? Like there are thousands of millions of devices of Bolt IoT modules. Your cloud should know that what device they are. The cloud should send the data. How he will know that what is your device name and what device he has to send the data. So this you have to do. So this is why we are using cloud. We are using API.
Excuse me,
Yes.
is it unique for every hardware module?
Excuse me.
Am I audible?
Yes. Please ask your question.
I am asking, is this API key is unique for every next
Yes. Yes.
API?
Yes. This API key is unique for every module,
Okay, okay, continue.
and this device name is also unique for every module. Now the next thing is registering on IFTTT. Like we have told you about the IFTTT platform. Now it's registering on IFTTT. So it's very simple to register on IFTTT. Just go on IFTTT website and then just continue with Google, Facebook, and if you're using a Mac, you can just continue with Apple and all. So this is a very simple task for just registering on IFTTT. Now, when you will just register on IFTTT, this interface will appear on your screen. Like start connecting your world and all. So like I will be showing you by using the API key. I will be showing you. So just a second, I'm sharing. So like what I'm doing, I am just going on IFTTT website. Okay. Now I am going on IFTTT. That is my first. You can see this type of interface is coming. Same will come in your case too. So now what we are doing, like we have created our APIs. Like I have got the API on which my particular hardware will perform the particular task. Now I have to connect it with IFTTT. Means now my task is to connecting Google Assistant and my particular API, that is for running my API. These two tasks, that is if I am saying light on, then my particular API should run. If I am saying light off, then the light off API should run. So these are two different tasks, commanding to Google Assistant and running of API. So in IFTTT, I am combining these two tasks. Okay. So now in IFTTT, you will see option of create. So just wait. Okay, now in create option, like I have told you, if this then that, if this means if I am saying light on, so I have to just give details at what I am doing, so what particular task should be done. So this is how you have to create your applets in IFTTT. If this means, now I will give details of my Google Assistant, that yes, if I will say to my Google Assistant this. So my first service, that if this means my first service means, like for in our case, first step is Google Assistant, commanding to Google Assistant. So for me, the first service I will choose is Google Assistant. So when you will write, just select Google Assistant, it will say a simple phrase with number and all. So like in my case, I will just say a simple phrase light on. So I have clicked on that. It's asking me this type of interface will appear. Like say a simple phrase. What do you want to say? So what do you want to say means what do you want to command a Google Assistant, right? If in my case I write lights on. So you can give two commands or three commands for a single task. Like I can also say switch on my house light. So this is the interface in which you are giving the information about the Google Assistant. Like if I will say lights on, so this I am giving to my IFTTT that if I will say lights on, then the particular action will be performed. So, and there is an option, what do you want the assistant to say in response? Like if I'm saying light on, so like for a good, for good project, it should be like very much interactive. So my assistant should respond something. So let's say I'm writing, okay, sir, turning lights on. So this is my interface. If I will say light on, it will respond me, okay, sir, turning light on. So this is my first task is done. I will create that trigger. Okay, so you can see like if this option is done, and next thing is if that option, like my first option for assigning task to Google Assistant, like what commanding to Google Assistant and getting some response is done. Now the next thing is running an API. Like when I am saying light on, then my light should be on. For that, I have to run the API of light on. So let me, for running an API, for running a web URL, there is one service called as webhooks. If you will write, you can see here a webhooks option with a triangle shape or somewhat like triangle shaped logo. So it's a webhooks option. Just go on that webhooks. You will get an option like make a web request. Like the task one is done, we are now working on a task two. So making a web request means running a URL or running an API. So just click on a web request and you will see URL option. So here you have to fill the particular URL. Like if I have said light on, so in this you have to put the URL of light on. So then only it will work. So like I have told you to copy that somewhere into notepad. So like I have copied it in my notepad. I will just show you. So this is my API. Like in my case, my API was this. I have just written that API in the URL option. It means I have done, if the light on, then this particular URL should run. So if I am commanding light on, my webhooks will just run this API. So this is how my project will be working. So in the next thing is method. So there are various methods how you are requesting. There are get method, post method. So in this we are using get method. Like there are many types of method, but if I just start explaining each and everything, that this will be out of the scope of this projects. So next thing is content type. So for each and every API, there is a content type, like the data in the form of whatever data you are giving, there are some content type in which that content is defined. Like in many APIs, there are text plain, but in which we are using its application JSON. Like I have told you, each and every company has their different formats of API. Some are in form of application JSON type content type. Some are in text plain, like just like a plain text. So we are using in this Bolt, we have application JSON, and body format is left. You don't have to fill anything. We actually fills body when we're asking for post request. Like this is all about requesting methods, like in which we are requesting things. So this is the particular thing that you have to do in the webhooks section. One is your API, particular API. Second is your get method will be get.
Hello, excuse me.
Yeah,
What is the purpose of this add ingredient tab over here?
add ingredient, like it has add ingredient means like anything else you want to add. Like if I say, you can see, say a simple phrase like one ingredient is added with this URL. Ingredient means like if I am using my Google Assistant, so that particular ingredient is added with my URL. Like with this URL I am using a Google Assistant. No, when I will say light on, then this particular URL will just run. So these two things are interlinked with each other. Okay, so now you have to just create an action. So like my first task is done. Like now if I will say to my Google Assistant light on, then my light will be on, because my first step is just commanding to Google Assistant. Second step is just running the particular API. So just continue with this and just finish. So like in this, you can see that here this particular applet is done. It's connected, showing connected. So now in this case, we have made for lights on, but there should also be an applet for lights off. Like we have not made for lights off. Again, you have to just go and create option. So now again you will see, we will repeat the same process. The process will be just same. Instead of your API that I was running for light on, I will just write light off and I will change the API key. So like again, I will be explaining like Google Assistant is my first step that I want to take. I will say just a simple phrase. What simple phrase? Like I just say now this time I will say light off. Lights off. Switch off my house lights. So like you can also add one extra phrase also, like, but in my like I'm satisfied with two only. So what should I get back from the response? Okay sir, turning off. So these things I have filled for my turning off my lights. Okay, so now I will just create the trigger and it will ask me then that like if I have said light off, then what particular task should be done by IFTTT. Now I will add the service that is webhooks. It will run that API, make a web request. Now again what I have to do, now I have to put the API of turning off. Like in the first case, I have just put the API for turning my lights on. So in this case, we are putting an API for turning the lights off. Like you can see, the state is 0 here. This thing, the state is 0. This means that this particular API is for 0 state. It means state is low or 0 means my light should be off. Again, the method should be get and the content type should be application JSON. So this is the things that we have done for our lights off. Again, create an action. Just continue and then finish. So now we have done for your, like if you will go on my applets, you will see that these two applets are made. But there is a limitation in IFTTT. The limitation is actually just a month ago or 2 months ago only this limitation has come that you can only make 3 applets of IFTTT for free. Like if you want to extend a project for 4 lights, 2 lights or many appliances, then this IFTTT will not work because we have only 3 free applets for this. Either we have to go for a premium version of IFTTT or we have to go for some another platform. There are still platforms in which you can perform this a particular task that we are doing. Okay, so for now, this 2 tasks have been done. Like if you say lights off, make a web request. Like firstly, if you say light off, then the web request that is my API for turning my light off will be run. And again, if I say lights on, like if I say lights on, then my particular API for turning on my light should be run. So this is the way how my project is working. So now just coming to the slide, just a second. Is my screen visible? Can anybody write in the chat box, please?
Yes, yes, visible.
It's visible.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sir, could you suggest any alternative platforms?
Yes.
You should try, I think, voice flow. Like,
Okay, okay.
okay, so now coming to IFTTT, like we have done for. So this is how that interface will look like. This is just the slides that I have prepared. So now coming to relays, how we are going to use relays. But like I have just told you that please don't use relay if you are not familiar with it, as it's working on 220 volts or 230 volts. So it becomes quite risky on working with relays. So now just I will explain you the connections of relays, like how you will use relays. Like in relays, how it works, basically you will see that there are three pins in relays. Basically relay work on the just on the magnetic flux, like it works on that principle on magnetics. So that AC supply is coming for controlling your bulb. An AC supply is coming, one is ground and another one is, that is you call it live wires. So what you have to do, you have to cut your live wires and you have to connect one with the ground of, you can see that middle one is the ground of relay and one with the another pin. So now your connection is broken up with the directly with AC supply. Now what here is happening, like with our microcontrollers, or like in our case that we are using Bolt, when I am, there are three pins, that one is V ground and one is a digital pin. V, from V that you give it 3 volt or 5 volts, from ground you give it ground. So how actually relay works, that is there is a pin called as digital pin. In this relay module you will see a digital pin, like mirror pin. So this digital pin is connected to your bolt. Like in our bolt we are using pin number 0 for reading the data. Okay, like pin number 0 for performing the action. Like my light is connected with pin number 0. If I will say turn on, then my pin 0 will be high, then only my light will be on. So in the same case here, this pin is connected to the particular pin. Like if I am using pin number 0 in my bolt, I will connect this pin to the pin number 0 of the bolt only. So that when my pin number 0 will be high, so by this wire will inform your relay module that yes, the pin number 1 is high. Then when the pin number that the pin will be high, then it will just connect the circuit. At the internally what is happening is it just connecting the circuit and disconnecting the circuit. When this particular pin will be high, it will connect the circuit. When this particular pin will be low, it will disconnect the circuit. Like this is basically how your relay is getting the data from this digital pin. From a very low voltage, it's getting data that yes, it's high or it's low. Then it's perform a particular task. Like it's connect the relays and it disconnect the relay. So this is how we will be using relay. Like I will be showing you a demo now. Just a second, let me just put my connections once. So I will be showing you the relay part. Okay, so now I'm starting my video. So you can just ping to my video. So this is my bolt, that is module which I have connected, and this is my relay module. If I will show that this is my relay module and this is my bulb. Okay, so now I will be commanding my with my Google Assistant. Let me, like, if my connection, if my internet connection will be very much good, then it will work, I think. Okay, now I am just doing this. Lights on. Okay, sir, turning on. You can see that my light is on and it's responding me, okay sir, turning on. That I have given input in my IFTTT. When I will say lights on, it will respond me, okay sir, turning on. So this is what it has done. It has, when I have asked light on, it has given me a response, and what internally at the backend has been done, my API key has been run. This has run my API key at the backend. So this is how my light is on. So if I will respond it, if I will say to it lights off, so then it will, let's say, lights off. Okay, sir, turning off. So you can see what it has done. I have said lights off. So it has run the particular API and giving me the response. It has given me response, okay sir, turning off. And what internally at the backend it has done, it has run that particular API for me. Like I have given the input in form of API, so it has run that particular API.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you show the connection of bolt with the bolt?
Okay, bolt. Yeah, sure. I hope, just let me give. Is that visible? Like I have just, like,
Yes.
let me show you. Like I have just took a pin, that pin number 0 wire. I have took a jumper wire from pin number 0 and I have connected it to my relay board. Okay, like if I will be using a LED, like in this case I am using this 220 volts bulb. So if I would be using a LED of let's say 5 volts or 3 volt, then I have plugged that larger leg of the LED to pin number 0. Then in that case my LED will be controlled through Google Assistant. So I will just if you want, then you can mail me. I will send you the circuit, a schematic circuit for that. Okay, who is this? Okay, now coming
Yes,
to the
sir.
okay, now coming to the questions. If anyone want to ask any questions. So guys, this was all from my side. Like I tried to, this is a quite a large topic, but due to some limitations of time, I have to just cut out some things.